Hello and welcome to Mente de Madre Leona. Today we are going to begin season 2 and I'm just super excited. I can't believe this will be the 14th podcast that we've done together. If you're new here, my name is Christina and I love to share some of the things that I've learned throughout the years that I found to be really helpful in my life, and I hope to share those things with you as well to motivate you to pursue your dreams and to release your inner lioness, because you have so much strength inside of you that is just very eager to come out and help you conquer all of your dreams and goals. So the Simple Strength series, I will be telling you a lot about fitness and nutrition and food, all of the things that I found to be helpful to me and not so helpful to me. And I hope that in sharing those things with you, that maybe some of it resonates with you and maybe you thought you were alone with some of these things and you find some comfort. Additionally, if you do find anything interesting about what I've had to say, I'd love it if you would meet me up on Instagram or on TikTok. I'm on both of those under Mente de Madre Leona and also Leona. I'm not sure quite how it shows up on either one of those. And also on my website, mentedemadreleona.com. So let's get started. Today, we are going to talk about smoothies and juicing, the good and the bad. So smoothies and juices, of course, they can have tons of great antioxidants in them, especially if you make them at home. But they can also be full of sugar and calories. And so if you're looking for a healthy snack to help you lose weight, it's really important that you know what you're drinking. Or if you're not trying to lose weight, if you're just trying to get some extra nutrients and vitamins, buyers beware. Be careful that you're not putting things into your body that you think are healthy, and really you're putting a bunch of extra stuff in your body that you don't want. So first, I'll tell you just a quick little bit about smoothies and me. Back in the early 2000s, if you were an adult back then you probably remember the smoothie fad. I know there were definitely numerous smoothie fads over the years. I even had the smoothie machine in my kitchen, and the thing would just explode spontaneously and sling berry juices all over my kitchen. And oh my gosh, I don't even know why I kept that smoothie machine for so long, but I was diehard that I was going to drink these smoothies. But I also used to make a lot of trips to my local smoothie shop before I bought my smoothie mixer. And I didn't know a whole lot about sugar, nutrition, calories, anything at that time. I was pretty young. But I was waiting on one of my smoothies one day, and I would always get a large smoothie because that would mean I would get more health and nutrients. I would even stop on my way to going out to dinner to get a smoothie before my dinner because that was so healthy. And of course, one of their snacks, which would generally be something like a soft pretzel, which I believe those had to be nutritious because, well, they were being sold with the smoothies. So anything they had was healthy. And it's hilarious to think about that now, but back then I just didn't know. And if you're new to learning about nutrition and wellness, all of this may be news to you as well. And that's why I hope to share all of it. I'm not laughing to be, downplay the truth of what it is, because these smoothie shops, they go out of their way to make everything look really healthy, even down to the colors that they use. It's all science of what they're doing and the way things smell to make you believe that they're healthy. And the grocery store obviously is no different. But anyways, I had wondered why I was putting on so much weight while I was taking in all these smoothies. But as I was waiting that particular day for my smoothie, I noticed they had those little nutritional guides and the little deal that holds all the straws and the napkins and such. And so I picked it up and I just started perusing it. And I noticed that the smoothie that I had ordered was 850 calories and 55 grams of sugar. And I was really shocked. I didn't really understand what that meant, but I knew it wasn't what I thought that I was getting. I thought I was just getting nutrients and that they didn't have such a high caloric intake and so much sugar. I definitely did not understand how that much sugar and calories could be in a drink. I just didn't think it was possible. But that definitely was kind of my first inkling, like, hey, you got to slow down. I'm going to the smoothie shop. And eventually I did start looking at what the ingredients were at some of these different smoothie shops. And I started seeing how many times they were putting sorbets and ice creams and the super high sugar content fruit juices and even just the sugary fruit mixes. Because they want to make it flavorful. They make, it tastes good. And if it tastes good, people are going to come back and they're going to spend their money. So that was when I had started beginning to make the mixes at my own home with my smoothie maker that loved to just combust all over my kitchen. But still at that time, I was adding all kinds of the high sugar fruit juices. I still didn't understand that was a really bad thing. I was definitely not adding any kind of protein into my smoothies. So long story short, I took a huge break from making smoothies over many years. And when I came back to making them, it's definitely something that we have on occasion here at my home. But when I do make them, I do add protein powder that doesn't have any kind of sweetener in it. I do add unsweetened almond milk or water. And the berries and bananas. Berries are super high in antioxidants and they are the lower carb of the fruits. So, and bananas, I just feel like my kids absolutely love them and they do seem to have a lot of positive benefits with my children. So there's so much sugar in those that the smoothie doesn't need to be sweetened with anything else. And my kids are super happy and I'm happy. So just be really careful. If you love to have smoothies, there's so many different ways to make them without having ginormous amounts of sugar. And if you like to go to a smoothie shop, they can make them for you without all of the added sugar. Just make sure that you know what they're putting in it. I had no idea. And so I started gaining a lot of weight. And so, definitely just know what you're putting into your body. So juicing was definitely another fad that's come and gone. I'm sure it will come back again at some point. There are so many books written on both smoothies and juicing. I could not even number how many there are. And juicing is a little bit different because there are so many people out there that believe that juicing is like a cure-all. It's going to cure anything. And there are times in certain people's lives that maybe a juice cleanse is really necessary. Maybe they're getting over some sort of really bad illness, or maybe they're detoxing off of something and it's going to be beneficial for them. But let me tell you a little bit about what happened with me and my experience with the juicing. I juiced for about 1.5 years and I did it religiously. Every morning and every night I juiced. And I had one of the really nice Omega slow auger cold presses. Really nice one. Actually, I've had 2 or 3 of them. And I'm sure it's still in the back of the cabinet somewhere. So I had to go to the grocery store every couple of days, which I don't mind, but it was constant that I had to have, fresh carrots, apples, beets, ginger, turmeric, and tons of greens, which the greens go bad quickly. So I had to have a lot of those, and, oranges and grapefruits, and to just always keep enough produce in stock in my own kitchen. It was a major chore. Then washing everything, cutting everything up and getting it all prepped and then running it through the slow auger. It took 4 hours out of my day every single day, 2 in the morning and 2 in the evening. And it was just a tremendous amount of time, especially with small children. But the juice looked so beautiful. I've got pictures of these glasses of juice. They looked so pretty and they tasted amazing. I never in my life would have thought that I would be drinking beet juice and that I could say, oh, wow, it tasted so good. So that sounds like it should be a cure-all, right? I should have been starting to feel really good. And instead, I went from feeling good to feeling horrible. And I would get so sick after I would drink the juice. I would spend at least an hour running in and out of the bathroom and, of course, having severe fatigue. But I really believed everything that I read about juicing, that my body was cleansing and it was detoxing, getting rid of everything bad. But, a year into it, I'm like, this isn't really jiving with what's going on. And so the other problem was that, again, my weight was increasing. It wasn't decreasing. And at this time in my life, I was a vegan and a vegetarian, depending on what part of this time frame. And I just kept gaining weight. And I'm like, what is going on? I'm, a vegetarian or a vegan, and I'm juicing twice a day, and I'm gaining weight. This doesn't make sense. And I thought, because I was eating so healthy, and I wasn't buying some gimmicky eat cookies every day and lose weight gimmick, that I couldn't be wrong. This had to be right. And so finally I stopped and started losing the weight that I had put on. But what I now know is that I was putting in a tremendous amount of extra calories, carbs, and sugar. Yes, sugar. There are sugars in all of these vegetables, not just fruits. And for me, my body wasn't absorbing any of the nutrients. It was passing the juices quickly through my body. And all of these years later, I do know now that my body doesn't tolerate any of those types of produce at all. The moment I eat them, I just get very ill. So my thought to you is to really make sure that again, if you're going to juice, that's great. Just make sure that what you're putting in your body is reacting well to you. And if it's not, don't be persistent as I was in believing that somebody else said this has to be healthy, so it's got to be. If it's not working for you, try something else. That's totally good to try something else. And be really aware of the amount of calories, carbs, and sugar that are in those juice drinks. Just because it's beets and grapefruits and kale doesn't mean there isn't a lot of calories and carbs and sugar. A lot of times you'll see these people post, only 150 calorie shake or smoothie or juice, whatever it is, but they're not telling you how many carbs and sugars are in there, are they? And so those calories are not going to fill you up. You're going to be hungry again in just a little bit. So just really pay attention to what it is that you're putting in your body. So it's definitely a process of trial and error, being well and finding the things that work for you. So here are some of my basics of what I boil it down to. What are the nutritional values on the things that you're putting into your smoothie or to your juice? Read the labels. And if there isn't a label, say on your strawberries, then just Google it. It takes 2 seconds and you've got the information right there and you can calculate it out pretty good. And a lot of these apps today on the phone are really good at calculating these things for you. You can just I put 5 strawberries into my smoothie and a banana and some almond milk, and it will calculate exactly what you've put into your body. Dairy is something that you've got to be really careful of if you're trying to really cut back on sugar. Generally, the lower the fat content, the higher the sugar. And so many of the recipes that I see for smoothies say use low-fat yogurt. Well, again, if you don't have any fat that you're putting into your body, you're going to be hungry again soon. So not the best. Also, if you read the low-fat yogurt label, just like the typical little low-fat yogurts, with the peel-off lid, it's going to be full of sugar. I am shocked every time I go and buy yogurt of how much sugar they can pack into these tiny little containers. And And skim milk, just incredibly high in sugar. Even 4% milk is, I think I looked at it yesterday, and it was 11 or 12 grams of sugar for one small cup. So that's tremendous. But the good news is today there are so many great low carb, low sugar options for yogurt, even for milk. So, you can choose those if that's what you're going towards. And just because it says keto, you don't have to be in ketosis or on a keto diet to be using those products. Just know that sometimes those products will have a lower sugar, lower carb content. But also you've got to be careful of sugar alcohols because those cause you to retain water in most cases. Adding protein to your smoothies is definitely a good thing. That's going to also keep you full for longer if you're trying to have the smoothie as a meal. Especially if you're trying to make sure that your blood sugar levels don't spike up when you drink that smoothie. When you put that sugar into your body, if there's a protein with it, it's just a lot less likely to have your blood sugar spike up. So if you put peanut butter into, say, a strawberry and peanut butter smoothie, it's not going to spike up as badly. Of course, if you're a diabetic, you've got to watch your blood glucose levels and you deal with your doctor on that. I'm certainly no doctor. But again, nut butters are really good at hiding sugar. Almost every time I buy a nut butter on like the Instacart or on Walmart.com or any of the ones where I'm buying it and just picking it up and having it brought to my car, almost every time, if for whatever reason I think I'm just buying the same one I've always bought, they'll bring it out to me and either the formula has changed or they give me one of the other flavors and they'll be full of sugar. So I think I've bought the unsweetened good one that I want, and instead I've gotten the one that has sugar added to it. And yes, it tastes amazing. But again, if you're trying to avoid the sugar and cut back on the sugar, just know those nut butters, almond butter, peanut butter, pecan butter, walnut butter, you name it. There's so many of them. And of course, Nutella, they're full of sugar. I think that also when we realize that eating anything with sugar can make us crave eating more sugar. I know that if I'm really diligent in avoiding eating any kind of sugar, I just don't crave it. But the moment I start eating some sugar, I just want more. And it's kind of like a stair-stepping effect where it's all of a sudden I've had more than I wanted to, and it's become a habit again. So you've really got to pay attention to the sugars that you're putting into your body. So what I'll leave you with is making sure that you pay attention to how you feel. If you make yourself a smoothie and you drink it and you have a tremendous amount of energy and you feel great, then that's great for you. It's working for you. Same with juicing. Some people thrive on vegetables. They do so amazing, and others don't. So really pay attention also to your gut. How are you fitting into your jeans? I'm not just talking about putting on weight, but bloating. I see a lot of girls talking about, bloating is just so natural. Well, I'm sorry, I'm not interested in being bloated. I do everything I can to not be bloated. And so putting things into your body that cause bloating, well, there's a reason why it's causing that bloating, and you might not want to be putting those things in your body. Your body may not be super happy at that moment if you're putting those things there. So if you just pay attention to what gives you energy, what makes you tired, what makes your tummy flat, and what doesn't, and then I think that you can really find what makes you stronger and healthier over time. Because when we're stronger and healthier, mentally and physically, we can pursue our passions and our dreams. Thank you so much for joining me on our first episode of Season 2 of Mente de Madre Leona. I look forward to talking to you guys again soon. Have a great day. Bye.